Hello everyone, Mevs here, and welcome back after a long while to the Barrios Major, a Rainbow Six Siege Pro League style 5v5 with players that shouldn't be anywhere close to Pro League. Let's have a look back at what's happened so far this series. Map 1 saw the Toffees take us to Bank, where after many back and forth rounds, the Pensioners managed to take the Toffees to overtime on their own map pick, and not only that, they took the whole map with them, winning 6 rounds to 5. On map 2, the Toffees responded well to their initial defeat, and on their opponent's map pick Clubhouse, yet again the map had to be settled in overtime, where the Toffees managed to take it 6 rounds to 4. As in the previous games, the transfer window was open between maps, so let's have a look at how our teams line up today. The Toffees re-signed Joe after Callum couldn't make the major due to a disease known as top spur, and they dropped Lucas in favour of Rav. Rav is a newcomer to the major, so hopefully the Toffees scouting team have hit the nail on the head with this signing. The Pensioners make 2 changes to their lineup, dropping Sizer and Tom in favour of Boris Johnson and a surprise return of Lucas. We've seen him play before, and possibly the intel gathered from playing with the Toffees can be beneficial to the Pensioners on map 3. One player to keep an eye out in this map is Raj. He's involved in the opening gunfight more often than not, and it's very evident that he loves to get in the building early and take out defenders as quick as possible. It's high risk and high reward for Shiv, as his entry of 7 kills to 3 deaths proves beneficial, but a survival rate of only 10% could cost the Pensioners if he is needed alive in the late round. Our teams won each other's map picks in the first 2 episodes of the series, so now the major will be settled on our decider of Chalet. The Pensioners got the final decision of Chalet or Villa, so the Toffees will choose the sides and will start on the defence. The Toffees are going to start the operator bans by taking down Flores as the Pensioners take down Ying and Kapkan. The Toffees will close out the bans by removing Azami. The bans are locked in and we're ready to start the final map of the first Barrios Major. So then, which team will come out on top? Both maps so far have gone all the way to overtime, so it's not easy to predict how this one will end, unless you're me, in which case I already know. We slammed the Pensioners 5-0 and none of our team died in any of the rounds. Believable? Absolutely! Enjoy the video. Hello everyone, Maxi359 here, and I'm your commentator for this final map of the Barrios Major. I have no affiliation with anyone in this matchup, so my commentary will be completely fair and unbiased. We're going to kick off the match on the top floor of Office and Master Bedroom, with the Toffees starting us off on the defence. They choose to bring out the Valkyrie to potentially hide some of those black-eyed cameras in the foliage and rafters of the chalet that could cause problems for the attackers if they're not spotted out early. Joe's going to have a cracking start to the matchup, lasering that drone as it drives past, but it's early doors so we can't really blame him yet. Ella's going to be bringing out the frost mats, placing them down on the windows, anticipating that Shiv could play Amaru and try to get into the site early like he usually does, but unfortunately for the Toffees, he's opted for the finger pick instead. And the action phase has begun in the final map of the Barrios Major. We're going to be kicking it off with the Pensioners attacking from the campfire side with Ned on his own by helipad. Maybe he goes for a backstab later in the round to try and catch the Toffees out if they identify the main push is coming from that highway / solarium side. Joe's going to be sticking his cameras down, just trying to make sure he gets all that information. Boris going up to highway is going to break down the piano window. Did Joe hear him? I don't think he does. He doesn't know he's there, and he's going to get opening picked 40 seconds into the round. It's Boris with the first kill of the major. The final map, that is, and he's instantly going to go and lay down on the floor, take a breather after that tough fight. But we've got Ned now, who's found his way into Wine Cellar. I don't think the Toffees actually know of his whereabouts. He may just be stuck in there for a while, but Rav is holding that Vine Stairs / Library Stairs position, whatever you want to call it, both valid. But it looks like he's going to be leaving it to go around to the kitchen side. He knows there's one on the front door as Steve breaks down the front door. And Rav's going to try and make his way over, see if he can find him, catch him off guard. Raj now, he's going to be holding the piano window, just like Boris was to get that opening kill. But Ned's going to make his way over to West Main. And again, I don't think the Toffees know, unless Joe spotted him out on the cam. It looks like Ned and Rav might find each other here, but who's going to win the gunfight? Ned's going to win the gunfight, takes a slither of health away from him, but he gets the second opener. And now the Toffees are left in a 3v5 situation. Shiv now on bathroom. He's going to hop in, try and get aggressive, but the Frostmat catches him out. Ella finds one for the Toffees, brings it back into 3 versus 4, but Ned, slightly late on those frag grenades, won't be able to find Ella. She's already left the position at the top of Solar. Boris has found his way into top Mevs, takes out the main cam, and looks to be holding the position. Ned again finds Ella on the other side of the map, and now it's Mevs and Ben left in a 2 versus 4 situation with 50 seconds remaining. Mevs is going to find one onto Boris at the top of Mez, and try and make his way back up to support Ben on site. Ned securely in Solar. Ben is going to find him through the wall and brings it back to a 2 versus 2. It's now Lucas and Steve, both on the Mez side of the map. Mevs was over there. I'm not entirely sure where he is now. He's made his way back up through Solar, and the Toffees have regained control of the site. There's only 20 seconds left on the clock. Lucas has the diffuser in hand. What is he going to do? It's going to be Steve who's going to make the first move towards the site, but he gets caught out by Ben on the double door. It's going to be Lucas to follow up, and he gets caught out by Ben the same way. It's a triple for Ben on the round, and the Toffees recover from the 2v4. Ben with a double towards the end, and the Pensioners didn't have any breach or any alternative route into the site, and that's going to be round 1 to the Toffees. Round 2 then, and after winning the top floor site, the Toffees will move down to the basement of Snowmobile and Wine Cellar. Of course, if a defensive site is won, then it cannot be replayed unless needed in overtime. The Toffees are going to bring along the Valkyrie again, and it looks to be Shiv on the Amaru, but on the basement site. It's not an easy task to get yourself in there unnoticed like he usually does. It's going to be Joe on the Bandit, potentially looking to Bandit trick the ace charges of Ned. And Boris is going to bring along the Thatcher to try and focus on that main wall, get it open. Rav is again going to fall back to the Vigil, try and catch out any flankers or backstabbers that the Pensioners send. Maybe around the car garage or West Main area. Mevs are going to pick up the smoke, trying to go for a plant deny. Might be trying to play the time game here, the Toffees. And we're going to have a single person in Steve spawning over by the cliffside, 2 by the helipad, and Shivy Raj is going straight in. He's in Solar already. He's going to try and make his way down West Main, I believe. No one knows he's there. No one's heard him. Rav, the roamer, is on the opposite side of the map, so Shiv could have an easy way down to the site, and he is. No one spotted him out. There was no yellow pings. He's already just outside the door of the site. Is he going to get a catch? He sees Mevs but can't capitalize. They trade chip damage, and both of them run away with their lives. Rav has found his way into the kitchen, and if he knows about the Amaru, he can get the catch, which he does. He finds Shiv for an opener. A second player, though, lies in the trophy room. That's Lucas looking to refrag Rav. He surely knows about his whereabouts after his teammate's death, and he does find him for a refrag. Lucas starts teabagging, but gets caught out by Ella, who's going to return the favour, and Mevs gets Ned on the main breach, and the Toffees come out of that engagement with a 4-2 man advantage. It's now just Steve and Boris, who are both sat outside the main breach, and a lot of time to work with. Joe knows about the location of the man outside the main breach, and he's going to try and quick swing him. Maybe try and get a single bullet to land on his head, get the kill, but he's going to think better of it and just hold the fireplace position. Ella, still on the roams, going to be holding around the vine stairs, and Joe's going to move up towards bar backstore. Mevs holding the position in storage, making sure that if he hears the breach he can swing and get the catch on the player that hops in. Ben making sure there's no flank coming from the trench side, as I don't think the Toffees know both of them are for sure out there. Boris is now going to move over to the trench side, so may get caught out by Ben depending on what angle he's holding. I believe the Pensioners have decided that the main breach is no longer an option. Too many angles being held, and those 3 smoke canisters yet to be used that can cut off that entrance point if the timer gets too low. It's going to be Boris on his own right now in trench. Steve's going to come around the back of car garage, I believe, but with no hard breach on the side of the attackers. It's going to be a task and a half to get through the site in this way. They've got a single door, but Boris is going to swing, and he's going to find one from the swing. Puts it into a 3 versus 2 now. 2 holding from blue, but he finds his own man. Puts himself in a 1v3 situation. A brilliant flick from Boris. Ben's going to be holding the only entrance now into sight, and the 2 players away from the site are surely going to hold the time down. Boris is going to push into sight, but Ben doesn't need the teammates. He's going to find him on his own. A blunder from Boris, taking out his only teammate in the 2v3. And he gets taken out himself. It's 2-0 to the Toffees after 2. Time for round 3 now, and we're going to head over to Bar and Gaming for the Toffees, looking to find a round win on one of the 2 lesser played sites at this level on Chalet. But we can't ignore the setup that the Toffees had in that last round, with the 2 players, Rav and Ella, putting a stop to the backstab from the Pensioners. Getting that early man advantage and taking a lot of utility off the board really made it difficult for the remaining 2 players to get anything done. Yet again, the Toffees are going to opt to bring the Valkyrie for that information game. They're going to bring the Mirror as well to hold down the Bar backstore. Going to be setting some presence above as well to try and hold on to that Mevs library area. If you have control of both the above areas on this site, you usually have control of the bomb sites as well. It's going to need to be a full roam clear from the Pensioners if they wish to have any luck on this site. They're going to bring over the Brava to maybe take control of some of their magnets and maybe take away the Valkyrie cams as well, but the defenders should know where they are if they get taken over. The Pensioners are going to bring 4 frag grenades as well. Maybe they could be useful in clearing out library if they want to take above control. There is going to be a second mirror actually placed upstairs looking towards the K9 window. But I think the main goal from the Pensioners here is take the other side of upstairs, then move towards the library, maybe with 1 or 2 players on that library balcony, and then they can enter the site with hatch control. Now Ella is playing in the basement here, maybe looking to catch out a roamer if they decide to come in through the car garage, which is exactly what Ned's going to be droning out now. Does he see the player in wine? Yes, he does. So he knows of the presence of Ella downstairs, and she's just going to leave and run up the blue stairs instead. Ned should be able to take control of the basement now, maybe choose to work its way up the fireplace stairs if they're not expecting it. Although it does look like there is 1 player in solar if he decides to go up there. We've got 2 players on the library balcony, and I think they know where Mevs is hiding in that corner. This is where the frag grenades could be useful, although it is the Wamai, so they will have to check for magnets before using the frag grenades. They definitely know of his position now, and Mevs is just going to try and hold on here, chucking the magnet out, and he gets 1 of the Brava drones as well. First of the 4 grenades coming in now from Boris, and he's going to try and get the man behind the mirror, but that's going to get caught by the magnet, and that's half of his utility wasted. Second Brava drone goes in to try and get more information on Mevs' position, maybe take out 1 of the magnets so you can get the frag grenades in. Mevs now holding the pixel from the corner of the library, and he is going to find Lucas the Jackal through the singular pixel. I don't think Lucas even saw him before he died, but that's going to be an opening pick for the Toffees. And that's going to make the Pensioners' job of roam clearing a little bit more difficult with that Jackal off the board. It's Boris and Rav in a firefight now in piano as Boris makes his way through to office and sticks himself behind the half wall. Rav's going to open up the wall, but he's going to get caught out by Boris, unknowing of his position. And now Boris has control of that far side. It's going to be Steve and Shiv now on the library balcony with the kit dropped outside. The man in the corners dropped the hatch, so they do have control of library if they can get in and avoid the frost mats. Ned's made his way onto Vine stairs. Steve jumps in and gets caught by the frost mat. Shiv, the same thing! Shiv gets caught out by Ben after being down by the frost mat, and Boris picks him up for the refrag, but Steve is still stuck down in library in the frost mat. Mevs is going to get the call from the camera, and he's going to get the impact to finish off Steve, and now it's Ned and Boris in a 2 versus 3 with 20 seconds remaining and no diffuser in hand. Joe's going to be attempting to hold on to the site through the fireplace door, get some chip damage onto Ned. Ella's going to rush in for the kill, but she runs out blindly and gets caught out by Ned to put us in a 2v2. The Pensioners need to go for the frags here. They get 1 onto Joe through a pre-fire, but they don't have the diffuser. Do they know where the last defender is, or is the time going to be their downfall? There's 2 seconds left and they don't know the position. That's going to be it. They're going to run out on time. The diffuser left on the library balcony is going to be the end for the Pensioners in round number 3. And the Toffees, by the skin of their teeth, are going to hold on just before the Pensioners could close in on the site and take out all 3 defending players. It's the time on the side of the Toffees. It's time for round number 4 now, and there's only 1 site left for the Toffees. It's kitchen dining room. They're looking for a full rotation and a perfect defensive half to go 4-0. They're going to bring the Rook on side now. Yet again with the Valkyrie staying on that information game. And the information game does seem to be their strategy as they bring along the Solus, trying to deny all the information from the Pensioners. If that's what they're going for, then it certainly worked in the first 3 rounds, but these drones are not going to make it very far with a Solus on the board. Rav now with an interesting play. He's gone for a tactical dance break. You only see this at pro level. very, very rare to see in your silver rank lobbies. It does look like the Toffees are going to be going for an upstairs hold again. As it is on those middle floor sites, as the attack, you've got to take control of the above to get a safe plant down and the pressure onto the sites below. However, all 5 pensioners have spawned together, and with Shivi Raj on the Amari, this can only mean one thing. They've lost the last 3 and they've just said, fuck it, we're going to take the fight to you. We're going to get into the site as quick as possible. 20 seconds and everyone is in the building. Joe catches Shiv off upstairs for the opener. However, it may not matter if the pensioners can take the site now. Boris finds one, but Rav gets the refrag. Ned on the Lion takes the back of site now, and the pensioners are in. All the Toffees are locked off the site. The pensioners have it, and they need to get a plant down. Steve finds Joe on the fireplace stairs. Everyone's flooding into the site now. The Toffees need to react quickly if they want to stop this plant from going down, because they have lost the site, and the reinforcements won't let them back in easily. They've locked themselves out. It is now Ned trying to find Mevs through the wall. Mevs gets a lot of chip damage onto Steve and downs him. He may not know, but Lucas is going to get that kit down, and it's going to be a first plant of the game that we see for the pensioners. Finger Boost is going to get Steve back on his feet. Mevs now getting shot up through the wall. Ella also getting tagged through the wall, and the time is not on the defender's side. Mevs will claim one onto Lucas, puts it in a 2 versus 2 situation. Shoots Ned, but Ned finds him, and that may be the end of the round. Ella is above. Unless Mevs can actually self-revive himself here, but he can't get away with it. Ned finishes him off. There's 18 seconds left and 2 players to find, and the kit to defuse for Ella. Seems like a pretty tough order when they know the position. They have the yellow ping. They know the location of the player, and it's only going to end one way. Steve shuts her down, and the pensioners retrieve 1 round back on the final rotation site. And at the half, it's going to be 3-1 to the Toffees. The pensioners grab 1 back, and will move into round number 5. The pensioners are going to be looking to replicate or better the Toffees' defensive half. Ignore the fact it says match point, that's just wrong. And the pensioners are going to be following suit and going up to the top floor for their first defense as well. They're going to bring along the Valkyrie this time. Out of 5 rounds, Valkyrie's been played 5 times. Very important operator for both sides, it seems, to play in this information game. Toffees are going to bring over the Jackal to try and counter any roam play from the pensioners. Should expect to be seeing a push coming from K9 onto the main wall if the Toffees can identify the Mute being the sole breach denial operator brought along, and the Buck of Mevs should be able to remove the signal disruptors from below, leaving the wall vulnerable to those Selma breaches. Rav on the Lion could hint at a fast execute once the Toffees have got themselves into a favourable position near the site. Lucas is going to be setting up those welcome mats over by the library to stop an easy push in from the balcony. Ned's going to be setting up those ADSs on Mez, possibly shooting out those Selmas if they're thrown onto the wall without cover. Toffees are going to start to make their way towards the building, and Joe shows the Chalet his breach charge just to let him know who's boss. Another high level play you don't see in Pro League, letting the map know you are not afraid to blow it up. We again see Ben playing the information game. He has the idea of the player in the bar. He's got the information. He just needs the execute now to take out the Mute who's hiding in there. They know where he is, but how can they get there? Rav's going to opt to go onto the roof, and he's going to opt to get off the rappel. Meanwhile, Ella's going to go up to the piano window, and Ben's going to lose practically all of his health. That was from Mez, from Ned on Mez. Ben down to a single bullet of HP now. He can't really take any aggressive fights. 1 bullet will be the end for him. Rav spots out the player at the bottom of trophy stairs, goes for the swing but gets caught out by Steve, and that is an opener for the pensioners. The Toffees looking to make a recovery from that man loss as Joe opens up the K9 window to maybe get the Selmas onto the wall, but Ned is in a position to deny. The Mute Jammer may still be on the wall, I'm not too sure. No, it isn't. The Selmas go off successfully. But will Ned be able to take them out? He takes out one, and then the right side gets opened. Still Ned holding down Mez, looking to try and get a pick through the hole that Joe made, and the hole he made is going to be his own downfall, gets taken out. It's now Mevs, Ella, and Ben on a single bullet of health. Ella gets taken down by Boris on the bathroom window. It's now a 2 versus 5. Mevs at least gets 1 man back in his favour as he takes down Steve in the middle of the site. He's going to claymore his run out just in case he gets flanked, but the Toffees definitely need to make a move now. They need to try and take some of the site before the time catches them. But with only a minute on the clock and only 2 players alive, it's not going to be an easy task for the Toffees to secure a plant, especially with the back of office open. But now Mevs swings in and finds Lucas on the bomb chassis. Ned still holding a position from Mez through those Selma breaches to deny a plant from half-wall. Ben holds the double window, but they have the information now on the play in the back of sight. The swing comes through, but Mevs wins it out. Boris is now going to swing from bathroom to attempt to refrag, catches out the player behind the half wall, and now it's just Ben on his own on the double window. And with no HP, it only ends one way. It's a triple for Boris in the round, and he brings the Pensioners 1 round behind the Toffees with 3 more defenses still to go. Can they keep the momentum and win out round number 6? The Pensioners are certainly looking more confident in these recent rounds as they seem to have found their flow and will now head down to the basement to complete their next defense. They're going to bring along the mirror to focus on that main breach and the mute as well to provide some cover from potential Twitch drone looking to pop that mirror open. Now if I'm seeing this correctly, I think the wall has been reinforced the wrong direction. And I believe, yeah, it absolutely has. A mistake from the Pensioners, and now the mirror cannot be placed and will have to relocate. I think both now have to be placed over on that car garage side, unless they want someone to hold somewhere above the site. We are going to be seeing the fuse and thermite coming out from Mevs and Ben, which is a surprise. They seem to be getting the most kills from the Toffees, so I would be expecting them to be on some more frag-heavy operators. Joe's going to bring out the Nomad to counter Shiv potentially. He is known to like that library run out on this map. But the action phase has begun and the Toffees are going to start to make their way towards the building. We're going to have all 5 spawning over by the cliffside spawn. They are going to be checking the runouts, checking the spawn peaks, just to make sure they don't lose anyone early. As going down to an early man advantage as the attack is never a good thing. And there is a player hiding in library, 2 in fact hiding in library, 1 maybe holding just the Mez side. Making sure that they do have that upper map control, they do have fireplace control. No pushes could be coming down from the main stairs, but the fuse charge is going to be in. It's only going to be a single mute jammer on that main wall, so it should be easily opened up by the thermite. Shiv is going to catch out Ella on that main door, slow peek in, gets her legs. And Mevs is going to make a rotate around to that trench side. Shiv, this is what we said earlier. He's going to try the run out. He attempts to jam the Nomad air jab, but it's too far across. It doesn't get it, and he decides better of it and just runs back into the building. Doesn't risk his life trying to go for an early kill. The drone work now is going to start to take place around that car garage trench area. Maybe looking to split the push. We've got a single man in Joe who's holding that main breach. The rest are going to come around the back end, and one of them is going to be going through this library window. The breach charge comes through. Shiv doesn't land any of the shots. Ralph decides he's just going to hold it. They know the position of the player on the balcony, so a swing is not necessarily the smartest idea in this position. The droning is going to come through the west main stairs, going to spot out that Frostmat in the corner. They do spot both of the mirrors now holding this position. Frostmat is going to get taken out, but with a minute 20 left on the clock, the Toffees need to start making something happen. Mevs is going to try and get any of those cluster charges down, but the mute jammer's covering the whole wall. He can't place any of them. The drone work is going to start to check out the site, get any information about the player in the wine cellar, because if they can get this trench wall open, it opens up another promising entry point into the site. We are going to be seeing the pressure now from the Thatcher of Rav looking into that west main area in an attempt to prevent a flank down the main stairs. But I think Ben may have found a part of the site that isn't covered by the mute jammer, and he is going to get that opened up. The fuse charge comes in as well, and now the Toffees with 45 seconds, they're going to really need to start putting pressure on that site. They have the back of wine cleared now. They have an entry place to try and get a plant if the cover is there. However, Shivi Raj with his back towards that west main window, he is going to get caught out, but only good enough for a down by Rav. There is a second player in the kitchen, that's Ned the Vigil. If Rav does not know about this, it could be catastrophic for him, and he runs in blindly, he gets caught out. Ned may be able to pick up Shiv as well, as there's no extra pressure coming from that west main, but the Toffees are going to have to go. There's 15 seconds remaining, and Mevs is going to get that kit down. Ben has the cover from the angle of the main breach. Joe, holding the snowmobile wall, gets some chip damage onto the player rotating that Mevs can take down. Now it's Ben with a headshot onto the flanking Vigil. Mevs on the swing, finds his second, and Ben finds the Toffees fourth, leaving just Steve in a 3 versus 1 post plant. Is going to be swung by the player on the breach, and the execute is going to come thick and fast for the Toffees. It's all 5 kills in 10 seconds, absolute chaos on the site, and the Toffees will make their move to match point. We move to round number 7, and the Pensioners are going to have to recollect themselves and win out these next 2 rounds if they want to stay alive in this matchup. They're going to retry the basement site as they did have a strong position late into the round, just missing that final piece of plant denial, and it's going to be Shiv on the Maestro, possibly looking to take care of the late plant with those Evil Eyes if the Toffees take as long as they did last time around to get into the site. The Pensioners are again going to bring the mirror, but this time the single wall looking into Snowmobile is reinforced the correct way. So that's going to be a useful bit of pressure applied to the players on that main breach. Now my only concern is that the Toffees have an ace and the Pensioners don't have any hard breach denial. So it's highly possible that the mirror can just be destroyed from afar if one of those Selma breaches can connect and not get shot out. It's 4-2, series point for the Toffees. And then if they can get this attack right, they will take home the trophy and the title of Barrios Major Champions, and they will start to make their way towards the building. The Toffees look to be applying some of that pressure onto the library window, maybe going for a bit of a roam clear to take above before heading down to the bomb site. Although we do have Ned playing in that bar and gaming room area below. So if he spots out that that's the push that they're going for, he could come up Vine, could come up main stairs, maybe try and put a stop to that. He's got Shiv upstairs with him as well, as a bit of extra support, stopping that roam clear from going down. The Toffees have brought the Lion on side to try and take out a roaming defender if they can isolate them and then move in with the scan. Although it is possible we see a rare case of the Vigil ability countering the Lion scan, which could catch the Toffees out with a quick rotate. Now the drone work is going to start to come in now from that library area. We've got two players on the balcony. Ned is going to be trying to lock down those library stairs, making sure that no easy access is allowed for the Toffees to take this map control. We do have Steve holding over on piano as well in case they decide to send a player through the office. And Shiv just keeping an eye on site as that main wall is open now. He's got his Evil Eyes in position. But most of the firefight now is going to come from that library area, which the Toffees have now secured. Mevs is going to open up that gaming hatch with a Gon 6 in case they decide they want a drop once they're happy with their upstairs control. I don't think they've droned it out, so it might just be a guess if they decide to drop, which Rav has done. He's going to make his way over to Vine, maybe to catch out the Vigil playing around that area. But Shiv on the Roman 90 will shut down the Zofia before they can make their way upstairs, but then runs into the firing line of Mevs, who will claim the refrag. Now Ella's going to make her way into that library hall. Is going to catch out the player. Will she win the gunfight? Yes, she will. She's going to take down Steve in the library hall, but Nez there for the refrag. He's coming down then Vine stairs, gets Ella, but then Mevs gets him back, and it's now a 3 versus 2 man advantage for the Toffees, and a minute left. Mevs now is going to swing onto the player holding blue, but is only going to get himself tagged up, decides he doesn't want the fight, and rotates back upstairs. Ben now, who's been outside the main breach the whole round, will swing across and find the head of the dock in Wine Cellar, putting the weight of the Major on the shoulders of Boris holding blue. Mevs has made his way around the fireplace stairs and going to start to get that kit down behind the cover. C4 goes off but doesn't find anyone. Boris is going to have to clutch in a 3 versus 1 post plant now to keep the Pensioners in with a shot at the Major. Joe, who's been on the backstab through car garage, has found his way into the site and will establish a position behind the desk. And he is going to swing and does find his man. Joe closes out the Major for the Toffees. Certainly a more convincing map for them as they take Chalet 5-2. And that will conclude the first Barrios Major. A very strong performance from the Toffees. They're going to take home the trophy. I'm going to thank you very much for being here. And I'm going to throw it over to Mevs for the post-game. Right then, let's go over what we saw in this match. A swift dispatch from the Toffees as they take down the Pensioners 5 rounds to 2. The Pensioners actually managed to get 4 opening picks, but they struggled to convert from that position, only winning half of the rounds they started with an advantage. The multi-kills from Ben in rounds 1 and 6 help him to get up to his highest rating this series at 154. Shiv, as expected, was involved in over half the entry engagements, although unfortunately for the Pensioners he didn't quite manage to make as big of an impact as we've seen on Bank and Club to turn the tide and push the Pensioners to some more rounds. At 12 and 3 KD alongside his second 100% cost of the series gives Mevs the MVP of this match, getting a rating of 213 and helping the Toffees to claim the Major title. Here's the list of all the participants across the Barrios Major ordered by rating, which is a score that ranks your performance with an average of 100. I thank you very much for watching until the end, and I do hope you enjoyed the series. If you did, then I would very much appreciate a subscription and a like on the video, and hopefully at some point in the future I will be back with new teams, new maps, and a new series of the Barrios Major. Thank you for being here, and I will see you later.
Yep, I've got pillar.
C4? Yeah.
Ned's middle floor, I don't know the room. Bottom master stairs. That area.
I
Got me, Ben.
Not
Sort
after
of
solo.
Frost. She's in, Frost's in.
That's Ned.
Blue.
Jesus Christ.
Nice
Oryx
fucking
blue,
execute,
Oryx
boys.
blue, last is blue.
Come on!
What just happened?
That's what we call a fucking execute. That was brilliant.
Yeah, but that was mental. Me and Ravi just sat back and watched that unfold.
Max, you get 3 there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2. Come on.
Jeez. Here's the battle of Ned and Ben versus Mevs and Ben. Ben's versus Ben. Ben squad.
Ben
Hey, I'm actually clear.